the 11th of February, 81, and the bomb squad had already swept the hearing room before Gregory Peck arrived at Las Vegas City Hall. That detail alone, a bomb sweep in a government building, before a proceeding about a man's right to work as a hotel consultant, told you everything about what Frank Sinatra had become in the public imagination, and what it meant, in practical terms, to stand beside him in that room. Wait. Because what Gregory Peck was about to do that morning would cost him something no publicist could calculate: the carefully maintained distance between a moral authority and a controversial friend. And he had already decided, somewhere on the drive east on Flamingo Road, before the bodyguards parted, to let him through. The Nevada Gaming Control Board had 3 commissioners behind a long table, 6 hours of questions prepared, and a room full of reporters who had already written their leads about mob ties and the chairman of the board. Frank Sinatra's gaming license had been revoked 17 years earlier. A Cal Neva Lodge scandal involving a Chicago crime figure, a furious phone call, an international incident that had followed him ever since. Gregory had read the briefing materials. He knew exactly what he was walking into. Have you ever known, before you opened a door, precisely what was waiting on the other side and opened it anyway? He took his seat beside Kirk Douglas, as the Los Angeles County Sheriff testified first. Sinatra sat at the front table, Barbara beside him, jaw set, eyes doing what Sinatra's eyes did in rooms where the room itself was against him, not soft, not hard, something calibrated over decades of public scrutiny. When he saw Gregory, he gave one brief nod that contained no performance at all. Gregory returned it with the same. 2 men who had known each other more than 30 years, across poker tables and benefit concerts and very late evenings in Palm Springs, communicating in the economy of long friendship. Just recognition. Just. One was in trouble and the other had come. The questions ran for hours: Lucky Luciano, a gold cigarette lighter, a briefcase allegedly containing $2 million in cash. Sinatra denied each with a lawyer's precision. In the second row, Gregory sat with his hands in his lap and did not move. Have you ever watched someone you respected be reduced to a list of alleged associations and understood that the only honest response was to put your own name on the other side? When Gregory Peck's name was called, he stood to his full 6 feet and 3 inches. And the room went briefly quieter, not from intimidation, but from the specific silence that falls when an unexpected moral weight enters a space. He moved to the witness position with the unhurried deliberateness of a man who understood that how you enter a room is the first argument you make. He took the oath. His voice, baritone and measured, settled the way it always did, with the weight of a man who chose every word. He had known Frank Sinatra for more than 30 years. He had watched him give audiences their money's worth in every city in the world. He had watched him give privately, without announcement. He had watched him stand by friends when it cost him. He is an artist who never fails to give an audience their money's worth, Gregory said, and a man who never turns his back on a friend. He looked at the 3 commissioners with those dark eyes that had never learned to be casual when something real was at stake. I would say it anywhere. 3 follow-up questions, 3 complete answers. He returned to his seat. Across the room, Frank Sinatra, who had not turned during the testimony, exhaled slowly through his nose, barely perceptible, visible only to someone watching for it, and was still. Have you ever heard someone speak for you in a room full of doubt and understood that what mattered was not the words, but the decision to come? The board voted unanimously to recommend the license. 8 days later, the Gaming Commission voted 4-1 to grant it, unrestricted. Frank Sinatra walked out of City Hall and said 3 words to the reporters. I am happy. The quote Gregory had given them, the one about never turning your back on a friend, ran in newspapers across the country. He had not needed to prepare it. He had been living that sentence before anyone asked him to say it. This is what Hollywood once meant, not just stardom, but the willingness to put it in the room when a friend needed it. If you remember when movie stars stood for something beyond the marquee, this channel is for you. Subscribe to keep these stories alive. And tell us, have you ever stood beside someone when the room was against them? Every voice deserves to be heard.